Well, hey guys, Will Robinson here from Robinson's Auto, toolsandtime.com. Welcome back. Got another video for you guys today actually. I got a 99 Volvo S70. It's got the 2.4T 5-cylinder. Okay, the issue that they're experiencing with this, they claimed at auction that it has a bad head or a head gasket. And you could tell there's some previous attempts to repair the vehicle from the previous owner. I could tell some of the bolts. You could tell it's been disturbed, you know. So we're going to dig in a little deeper. I did a pressure test on the coolant system. I do have some leakage somewhere, and it's all pointing internal. It's getting coolant in the oil, not so much. It's very minimal, and it's also blowing white smoke once it gets hot. When it's cold, it's fine. It's just that when he stops, you can see the steam coming out the back a little bit. So it's definitely consuming it into the combustion chamber. But it's to the point where I got to dig deeper. I wish I could have brought you guys in for the initial troubleshooting, but I'm just getting caught up, and there's a lot of people that were kind of worried, sending me emails, wondering how I'm doing, and I figured, hey, I'll throw this one up for you guys. I'm a little, got started already, but at least I could bring you along, just touch base with you guys. Alright guys, I'm going to start by removing this plastic cover. It's a T30 Torx drive. It's 2, 4, 6. Eight. Okay, I ditched the T-handle. I guess you could call me lazy. Okay guys, you want to keep track of your bolts, of course. There's two little metal clips. Okay. Okay, to give me a little bit more room to remove this coil pack, I'm going to take and remove this crossover pipe. It comes from the turbo. It's the intake. Probably an intercooler down below. That was pretty much just a hose clamp. Got one there. One here in the back. Okay. Looks like it's aluminum. Before I remove the coil packs, I'm just going to number them. Somebody already did, but just so I can see them a little better. Just like so. That's just so I put them back in their original spots. The light's not the best. As you can see, there's a push down and pull out. Down, pull out. One ground wire there. I'm going to be moving this harness right out of my way. There's a 10mm retaining bolt on each coil pack. I'll want to remove that. Also, there's a ground wire. That'll allow you to move this wire harness out of the way. One more ground wire here. Okay. Alright. Those are removed. Take and pull the coil packs out. Wow. Man, something funky on number 2. Oh. Man, that one did not want to come out. Okay, now I'm going to be removing the spark plugs. It's 5/8 spark plug socket. Okay. I'm going to lay these in order. After looking at the plugs, I really couldn't see nothing obvious because somebody had replaced them recently. However, I tried looking down the cylinders as well, hoping I could see one that maybe the top of the piston was clean. Sometimes when water is getting into the combustion chamber, it'll actually look like it has a cleaner cylinder than the rest. However, I don't see anything obvious at this point. Okay, you probably hear my battery charger running in the background. Before I take off this fuel rail, I'm going to have to disconnect this fuel line, so I'm going to want to relieve the fuel pressure. So I'm just going to take off this Schrader cap. And this has a Schrader valve in it. Okay. As you see, I had some gas come out. I just have this little mixing cup here. Let's see. Okay, we're good. And another thing I forgot to mention earlier, before you get started, just disconnect the battery. Remove the retaining bolts. The fuel pressure was relieved, and I removed the fuel line. Now I should be able to pop the injectors out of the head. I take a little bit of wiggling. As you can see, there's O-rings. Okay, I'm just going to take and set this off to the side. Okay, next I'm going to take and remove the radiator hose, the upper hose. And now if you have coolant in your system, this one doesn't have any coolant in it. It's straight water because they had the system drained down a couple times. Somebody actually did an intake gasket from what I could see. They may even had the head off. However, there's just straight water in it, so I'm not too concerned about that. Therefore, I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to put a drain pan underneath it and see what we got. I'm going to work on getting the intake off. So first I'm going to remove the upper radiator hose. Oh yeah, yummy. As you can see, it's just pure water. It's actually pretty low. Get this side on. Let's get the thing out of our wig. Next I'm going to remove this retaining bolt for the dipstick tube. It appears to be a 12mm. Yep. Feels like this tube will actually pull out. I'll have to look underneath and see what's... Oh no, it comes right out. It's an O-ring. So next I'm going to take and remove this small hose. Looks like a vacuum hose. I'm going to just snip that clamp. We'll be putting on regular standard hose clamps. There's another one here. I'm going to take and remove that. And another small vacuum hose down here. Let's start on that. Not sure if you can see it, but okay. I'll also remove this hose. Looks like some kind of crankcase ventilation, maybe. Okay, we'll take and pop that. Alright, now I'm going to start removing the bolts around the perimeter of the intake manifold. Here's another little tip thing I do. If I have a swivel that swivels too freely, I just wrap it with electrical tape. Oops, that one fell. Oh man. Okay, that last one looks like it's going to be fun. Now someone's probably watching it has done a lot more of these than me and said, you know what, you save a lot of time by doing this. But, however, I did one of these on an older model, but it's been many years. I'm just winging it. Once I remove the intake, I'll reach that. Okay, so they're all removed. I know you really can't see too well, but right down there I got 2 electrical connections. And that one small hose. So you got one there, and that hose. And then this tube. And then the intake tube. Separate clamp. And I sure wish YouTube would allow me to use music. However, they're funny about it. All this copyright stuff, you know. Can't even play the radio. Okay. There's 2 connections. Just regular plug and play. Got that little push clip like the coil packs had. Very similar. Them 2. Just move the small hose. Wow. These friggin' hoses want to come out. Alright, let's see what else we got. Okay, I see what's holding me up now. Right where this one hose goes to, there's like a 3-way. So you have this one water line here, then you have a small one that leaves that. And then another, looks like maybe 3/8 to a 1/2 inch hose that goes back to another tube. And it has them crimp style connections on it. I'm going to take and try to cut that one crimp style connection and use a regular hose clamp later. However, at the bottom it looks like that 3-way T, that 3-way nipple, actually has a bolt at the bottom, so it probably goes up through, has a couple sealing rings on it. I just don't want to disturb that, so I'd rather mess with this hose. But if I can get you down in there, you can probably see it, but I'll give you a clearer shot once I get it off. Alright, I got that intake off. Right here is that where that hose went that I was telling you about. Once I got that off, the intake lifted up and out. Had to maneuver it a little bit to get it to go around the fuel line. Then down here there was one plug that went underneath the intake, one electrical connection. And as you can see, you can tell this thing's been apart. Now I could have left the intake in there and just pushed it back. However, it was just that one hose stopping me from taking it all the way off. And I got to inspect everything, guys, because as you can see, That's a brand new gasket. This car was bought at auction, and I could tell this head's been off. So I got to inspect everything along the way. I don't know if you guys can see down in the back here, but there's a couple retaining bolts for this heat shield. I'm going to try to remove that next. There's one bolt here with a spring on it. There's one more over on this side. And a bolt here. They all appear to be like a 12 or 13 millimeter. So I'm going to just start yanking some stuff there, and then I'll give you guys another shot. That's 12 millimeter, guys. What a little maneuver and come good at. Got one more retaining bolt right behind that shield, so I'm going to pop that out and remove that second heat shield. Alright guys, I just want to do one more pressure test on this system while I had the intake off and the plugs out, just to see if I could find something obvious. So where the hose went into the intake and exited the intake, I just put a hose between the two tubes. And I put the upper hose back on, took out the coolant reservoir, and I wanted to take that out of the equation, and the hose that supplied it, because this doesn't have a regular radiator cap. So this would be your supply hose going to the system from the reservoir. I capped that off. And then pretty much on the overflow tube that went to the canister, I got the leak down detector on. And this here is just a simple leak down detection device I made. You can use it for doing leak downs on cylinders, or you gotta be really careful with coolant systems. You don't want to put any more than like 10 to 15 pounds on the system. However, I got a regulator. I can regulate it, set the pressure. I'll give you a quick example. It's going to supply the air to the coolant system. I'm going to take this one up to, I'm going to take it up in increments. I'm going to go up to like 7, 10, and 15. You want to go up nice and slow. Wear safety glasses when you do this. 15 pounds, you're getting in the danger area. So you want to okay, I want to get that on 15 for you. Okay, and that's locked on 15. Now the coolant system is isolated, so if there's any leaks in this portion, this valve, this system holds pretty well. I use it on other vehicles. I just want to show you how minimal of a leak it actually is. Okay, we're right around 14.5 pounds. So every 60 seconds, every minute, we're losing a half a pound of air pressure. So every 2 minutes, we're losing a pound.